Hey Trent, how you doing?
Good, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine, thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful day.
It is.
Same but different location.
Same but different location. Everything's a little different. We got to rotate around. I mean, until we get things established and set up, it's all about just being flexible.
This might be my favorite view, even though we have the stadium over there and other things. I can see the coal plant over there. I can see the airport, and look at all the planes coming into the Orlando International over there.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. I was just watching them while you were kind of messing with the camera. I was like, wow, this is really kind of cool. We got a nice lake view. We can look into other people's office buildings. It's fantastic.
See what they're doing, how hard they're working.
Yeah, look at that car driving on that parking area.
Speaking of views, I was trying to watch the meteor shower this morning with my wife, and we saw one, but because it's just too bright out, just really can't see. The moon was super bright too. But the main thing about it was we actually realized that we could see Venus and Jupiter and actually Mercury this morning too.
That's the first time you realized that?
Well, I mean, we were these are super bright and
let me tell you a little trick.
All right.
As it's becoming dusk, if you see one star, it's Venus.
Okay.
It's the brightest star in our sky. And as it's becoming dawn, if there's one star left, it's Venus. And then Jupiter kind of floats around, but Jupiter is really cool because you can pull it up even on my layman telescope and see at least 3 of the moons. Oftentimes you can see 4 of the moons kind of float, like the big ones. So it's our favorite, to kind of track down Jupiter when it's more in a closer area, you know? Yeah. But yeah, I dig that. I will say Florida has a little bit of light pollution, which is unfortunate because some of the stuff, just in general, even with the clouds and everything, some of the space shuttles, we're not very far away from it. Sometimes I can't see it.
No.
So
occasionally, though, we do get to play plane or shuttle.
Yes.
Because you're driving around, you see the planes are leaving the trailers. Oh, there's a plane. And then you're like, wait a minute. That's not a plane. Yeah. That is a shuttle.
Yep. It's going into
it's a rarity.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is interesting because they do take a curve when they go up. So it's not a straight up, we think of it as a straight up trajectory. Right. They're actually going at a curve too. Yeah. So at first you're like, is that a plane? You know? But those are neat. That's one of my favorite things to see. And you can see that every other day. There's some sort of launch of some kind.
What are we doing with all that?
I don't know, but there's SpaceX, and then there's NASA, of course. And then, of course, there's the Blue Origins and the few other ones that send things into orbit. Yeah. So daily, basically, something's going up here in the Florida area. It's kind of neat. Yeah. You know, even though it's also kind of weird. So yeah. It's cool. I didn't know there was a meteor shower going on this morning.
Yeah, so it's been going on for the last couple of days. I guess between 2 and 3 a.m. we didn't hit that window. We were up at 5:30. I knew waking up time, but we tried to catch what we could, and we're sitting there. The only problem is it made her reminisce for India, because she's when this would happen, she's we wouldn't have these problems. We wouldn't have the light pollution there. We would just lay out on a terrace, and just watch and look up.
That's how it was in Idaho. Idaho's right on the border with Montana, and they call it Big Sky, Montana for a reason, because you look and it's just,
Big sky.
You see the Milky Way every night. It's just here, I haven't seen the Milky Way once. We've gone out when it's been some of the darker nights. Usually the darker nights are when you're getting just the sliver of the moon. And so some of the darker nights we try to go out and I still can't see the Milky Way. You can see stars to a varying degree, but in Montana and Idaho, you see everything. There's something
special about it.
Special, magical, majestic. It's crazy.
It's what I like being about camping in Illinois. Yeah. You're out there, you get to see so many more stars. I forgot there were so many.
Yeah, from my understanding, a buddy of mine here in town, they got I don't know exactly where it is, but it's down south. They have a cabin on one of the lakes. And he says that, out there, when they're out in the cabin, there's no light pollution. It's just unbelievable. Yeah. I was like, I bet it's pretty quiet out there. He's like, no, that's the only thing it's not. He's like, because there's no people, the bugs and the wildlife is insane.
They're talking and squeaking and chirping.
Well, we always have cicadas, and cicadas, they make that rubbing noise.
Oh yeah.
But they cut into the trees, and that's part of the noise that they're making is that saw, because that's where they put their eggs into, and so So their eggs hatch from the oak or whatever. But yeah, they're constantly working those cicadas. But then it's all the other wildlife too. But those things are like the ones that are extra loud. It seems like you hear them everywhere. You know, I think they're kind of neat, but they're also pretty ugly.
Yeah, not great. I mean, we in Illinois we were in like a hotspot for like the what was it cicadas? I think it was cicadas, like the big batch ones, the ones that come out like the 15, 17 year ones. You know? So I remember that when I was a kid. You know, just getting really loud and just like you'd hear them everywhere constantly, and then like all you know, exoskeletons that they shed them. You know,
they do shed those. Yeah.
So you're like,
are those cicadas that where you get them back bad on certain years or something?
Yeah, well, they come in batches. So it's the gestation period or whatever it is. Like they come in like every 3-5 year batches, and occasionally, I think it was last year they had a double. It was like they synced up the ones that came out like 15 years. There's some that have like really long time frames too.
That's interesting. You know what's when we first moved here, the bugs that we'd have those 2 times a year, the love bug season. And I mean, you'd drive through them and clouds of them, and your car would just get packed with them, and you couldn't leave it on your car because they would just destroy the paint, like their guts and stuff. And I see them every now and then, but I haven't seen the clouds that I saw when we first moved here. So is that one of those things where they're batching, or is it something where we're killing them off or something? I don't know. It's interesting though. They never really bothered me, with the exception that they're called love bugs. So there's 2 of them stuck together. They're always having sex of some kind or something. I don't know.
Connected.
And they fly around together. Yeah. And so when you're squishing them, you're squishing like 2 at a time. You know, which that might make you excited if you're squishing bugs, or it might make you mad.
Doubling up here.
Well, I had the other day. I mean, this is some private information. I'm not going to lie, but I got up at like 4 to go to the bathroom. I had to go number 2, and I'm sitting there in the bathroom, and I have the door closed, and we have a little water closet, you know, and the door's not that far, the room's not that big. Yeah. And I'm sitting there, and underneath the door comes this spider, just about a quarter size, and he comes crawling on there, and then he underneath the door stops about an inch in, and I'm just like, I'm so tired. I'm like, is this really happening? You know.
Am I getting invaded right now?
I'm looking down, and then all of a sudden, like he's staying there for like 2-3 seconds. All of a sudden, he starts running at me.
Seat's taken, bro.
He's a big sucker. Yeah. And so then I'm like trying to squish him, but my shorts are around my legs.
Oh my God!
Squish this spider. Anyways, I finally squish him. I got him, you know, and then, you know, I finish up and I get out of there, wash my hands and stuff. Well, I didn't pick up the spider. So at like 5 or 5:30 in the morning, when my wife gets up, she goes in there. And I totally forgot about it.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Back to bed.
I get up at that time.
Oh, okay.
I was on my computer, but I come in about that time to start my workout. And so I go in there to start my workout, and she's in the bathroom, and I hear this scream, just, you know. And I was like, it was dead, right? You know? She's like, yeah, but it was huge. She's like, dead. It was like the size of a dime. And I was like, yeah, no, it was. I said, it came running straight at me. Yeah, you know? I had my pants down. I was like, I don't know what to do.
I didn't know. Yeah, it was.
I feel violated.
It got real intense.
Yeah. And it was one of those things. Like,
he was on a mission.
It wasn't an easy stop because I had my pants around my legs. Anyways, welcome to Florida.
Yeah, welcome to Florida. Yeah, privacy is not as a thing. Invasions can happen at any time.
The bugs and animals. I mean, but that's part of the reason we moved here too. Like, we love the cranes. We love all the animals. I love the snakes. You know, I personally love snakes. I love all the lizards. I love frogs. And so the wildlife just everywhere. I just feel like that's what you get in Florida. Yeah. You know,
get to see it all around you.
Yeah. And when we were in Idaho, you know, I feel like we didn't, I mean, we'd get the mosquitoes and stuff, but I was like, I could do without these. You know?
I think everybody can do without those.
Yeah, but we didn't have any really lizards or frogs or snakes. I mean, supposedly there's rattlesnakes, but you never see them. So I don't think they exist up there. You got winter. What are they going to do in the winter?
Hibernate, hide in the hole.
Yeah, they have to. You know, and so I don't know. Anyways, so I do like the wildlife. So even though we talk about the bugs and They bother me to some extent. I'm glad they're here. I like them a lot.
Yeah.
So.
MortgageCon 2026 isn't just another mortgage conference. It's an immersive, high-octane adventure across Universal Orlando. With 40 plus exhibitors, this is where mortgage originators come to level up and let loose. Join the magic. Grab your ticket now at mortgagecon2026.com.
We had not to change subject, but we had an offer we submitted over the weekend and got beat out right away. Yeah,
it's a unique situation. So on this one, we got to kind of work with a little bit of like what the seller's agent is saying, but it's in their best interest to be honest, or they're going to blow out a deal and waste money and then probably open themselves up to little litigation if they don't. But yeah, apparently they're listing a house for like $400,000. The previous appraisal came in at $440,000. I mean, it's really kind of a magical like time that you could be like, well, if you only are asking $400,000 still, even though you know that it's worth $440,000, I bet whoever beat us out, they probably pushed it to like the upper limits and said, hey, I'll give you $440,000, but I need 6% seller credit. Probably like what we should have did on it, but
could be. I mean, I've gone around trying to figure out what's going on. Obviously, I think it's a better price. They got it. We offered $10,000 over listing price, and I thought that was good. But we did ask for the seller concessions. Basically, we were asking for list price with the seller concessions,
which is, I think, it's fairly.
I think this market is a more than fair offer. Yeah. I looked up the comps because I pulled I did a CMA on it too, and I had it coming in about $430,000, so I could see that $443,000 or whatever that they said it came in. It definitely was priced under what it should have been listed for. I think a lot of that too was we were the third group to get under contract. They've already been under contract twice. They've had problems with 2 FHA loans. They fixed everything from the other FHA loans. There was no reason the last people that should have backed out. Actually, they didn't back out.
They didn't disappeared.
They didn't. Exactly.
I was listening to it. Ghosted.
Yeah, they just disappeared. So, but it was one of those situations you don't know what to do at that time because it's like, do we go in higher or do we? Needless to say, I don't think it was an FHA. I think they must have gotten like a conventional loan. They had 2 FHAs fall through. I just think that they were just like, for whatever happened, FHA home buyers tend to make people nervous. And I'll tell you why. It shouldn't, but they're new buyers. And so sometimes they get cold feet. Sometimes they, various things happen, and it happens statistically more so with FHA buyers than other buyers.
Yeah, maybe that's something we could have considered too. We could have considered submitting it as conventional. We probably could have been close to pulling off a conventional as well on it. I mean, conventional just sells. People get confused on like a lot of this other stuff if they don't have experience with things. Like Gabe and I were working on an offer too that, they were going to take it, but then they got scared off when I used 4 letters together they didn't understand. And I said DSCR, and they're like, well, what does that mean? I'm like, well, it's a very simplified process that a lot of investors like to purchase homes with, and especially my client, they're well versed in investments because they have a bunch of paid for houses. So it's like, and so what it does is it allows them to not have to dig out their taxes. It can fund 3 weeks, as long as everything's boom, boom, boom good, we can be faster on it. But they're like, oh, we thought this was maybe conventional. We got confused with the DSCR. And I'm like, okay. I'd even ask the agent, like, have you done this before? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, let me kind of, break this down and like, hey, why it's good. So I think it just kind of threw them off. They got nervous about it being a different product type. So now I'm just going to start telling people it's conventional until, unless it's FHA or VA.
It's tough. I basically, and it's not necessarily true, but I basically call everything kind of a conventional. I'm like, look, it's a bank statement loan. It's kind of a conventional loan.
Kind of a conventional, yeah. It's not really like super unconventional. I mean, it's becoming more mainstream now, right? People understand bank statements. Give me your.
It's strictly how we're deriving income. That's the change right there. The structure of the actual loan is very similar to a conventional loan.
Yeah.
So that's, people get confused, but then, when you put it in that type, they're like, oh, okay. So it's not like this weird type of fringe loan.
Yeah, I think what people should really do, though, is probably a little bit more focus on not necessarily loan type, but maybe in like down payment. It's probably the easiest way to like convey it. Say, hey, like my person is more invested in this because to do a DSCR loan like that, they're going to put 20% down. They're going to put 15% down. Your conventional is getting away with 5.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Do you want somebody who can, just put in the 5? Cool. I mean, sure, there's qualifications for that. But if somebody's putting 20% down, they probably have a higher, love for your property. They're in now. They're putting 20% down,
Yeah.
So
they're more invested in the property. I will say sometimes, because no matter what, in my head as a listing agent, I'm like, well, if we're going to run into appraisal issues, we're going to run into appraisal issues. Down payment really doesn't matter as much. Yeah. In my head, like when I'm talking to my clients, it's more just the structure of the loan and how it makes sure it's going to go through.
Well, that is true, but you do have more flexibility if somebody is putting 20% down. True. Because it's less likely that that's all they have.
Correct.
So if say, because right now appraisal issues are more going, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they're going more in favor of the buyers. They're Absolutely. Like, hey, we thought we were at 455, turns out we're 450. You want to lower that purchase price to 450, or I can just get out of it and you can keep your home on the market for another 30 days. Yeah. So I feel like it's going more in the way of the buyer. But if it was the event that, hey, it was the seller's like, no, you agreed to $5,000. Like I need that $5,000. Like you probably have more leeway with somebody's putting 20% down than I'm putting 5% down. So there's not a lot of space.
That just goes back to what you're talking about. Just kind of goes back to in my head. You can either have price or you can have terms. So you can have better terms. It's going to cost you a little bit on the price. Or you can have slightly worse terms, and you're going to get a better price.
Right.
And that goes. So even with selling a house, we're typically going to get a better price from an FHA or a VA loan than I would a conventional. Conventional feel like they have a little bit more power. You're usually putting quite a bit more down. Yeah. And so their terms are better. Right. It's not as stringent on the appraisal, and so you get a little bit of a more loose appraisal. You don't think you're going to have issues taking a conventional, so you're definitely giving up a little bit of a price for the terms on that, and vice versa. If you want the max amount of money on any sale, you're probably going to take an FHA or a VA because they're probably not going to have much down. They're going to be willing to pony up, to get to that price because they don't have the terms. They're going to have to offer the price.
Right, and I think too, going to like the way you kind of look at different loan products, like. Unless I missed it, but I don't think Zillow has a qualification for like saying non-QM. You'll see,
it's true.
Financing terms will be cash, conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, but they don't put like non-QM on there. So really kind of as like lender and agent, we kind of have to present things more as conventional because people get confused. They're like, I don't know. Are we accepting these terms? Well, you'd like a conventional loan. It's a conventional loan for their, their type of business, I guess.
It does go back to my listing presentations and when I talk to them about being a lender and how accepting an offer, I will understand the offer quite a bit better than a standard realtor, at least on the lending side and everything. I could potentially call and ask the questions better, because as realtors, sometimes, like you said, you're struggling with the listing it, you're trying to convey the value and stuff.
Right.
And I can tell you as a listing agent, the first thing we do is we get defensive because, we don't want to cost our clients anything. We want to make sure we're taken care of. And so it is one of those things we're like, okay, well, you go, like I'm open to listening, but sometimes when you don't know, you're apprehensive and you don't explain it right to your client.
You do, I think it's almost anyone. Unless you are in a growth mindset of like learning things, you do tend to be a little more defensive about things that like you don't necessarily know, right off the bat. So it is a little thing like could be, I guess, is a turnoff. Oh, I didn't know what DSCR was, so it's a turnoff. Oh, I've seen too many FHAs fall apart. We can't do a third, kind of thing. So,
which I will say, they weren't opposed to doing a third on the FHA. I personally think it wasn't an FHA just based on the history. And, you know, I just think they might have gotten another FHA that was priced a lot more. It could have been priced.
It could have been priced. Yeah.
Know?
And I mean,
we don't know what would happen. And the listing agent didn't tell us. So,
yeah. Well, maybe we'll just reach out to them and be like, hey, let me know if this one gets you any, you know, bad feelings. I really conveyed to, because I love calling the listing agents and just, you know, selling our clients too, and say, hey, they're amazing. I've done all of the upfront work on it. I know that they are, you know, approved. They have the funds. I've seen the documents on the income. You know, we're good to go here. I do a full documented pre-approval. I don't typically do the, I think this is good, and then just, you know, whip it in to get against the wall and see if it sticks. Yeah. You know,
so, and just so you guys know, like going into this, they already had an offer. So we were like, okay, we got to make sure we're competitive. So we were like, we'll get Trent involved, have him call the listing agent, explain, you know, that there's no problems with the loan, and, you know, and that way they get to, because as a listing agent, we're typically most of us good ones are going to call the actual lender.
And see what kind of vibe you're getting.
Yeah, and talk to the lender. And they won't divulge a ton of information.
No.
We can ask, you know, how's the credit, how's this, but they're not going to divulge that information. But you can get a feel for how confident you are in the loan at that point.
Yeah, I'll usually convey things like, you know, income strong, funds are looking good, you know, credit's right where it needs to be, you know, they are well qualified for this property. It's well within their means. I'll use words like that, you know, or if it's like, it's kind of on the upper end, you know, kind of thing, like, you know what, this does fit their buy box, you know, certain things are like, we're not gonna, if it's an outright no, they wouldn't have had a pre-approval letter for this property from me.
And, you know, that's the thing is, like, you don't get that with all lenders. And we lost out on this one, but I think if the loans were the same, or if the offers were the same, that would have been the thing that tipped us over in our favor. You know,
definitely.
So we just got to play the poker odds, you know?
Right. And I conveyed the other value too, because they had 2 offers fall out. I told them that one of the things that I can do, because of the speed of some of the lenders that I work with, I would get it, you know, if we went under contract right away, accepted. If I had everything in my system on Tuesday, I could have probably got it disclosed to my client. As long as they e-signed everything on time, I would have likely had the conditional approval out on Wednesday.
Okay.
So it would have been, hey, I told them I would be more than happy to share that with you, so you can see that there's no red flags on our underwrite here, you know, going into it. There's no big deal killers. You know, here's where we're at. You know, and those are shareable. Like, it's, you know, there's no personal information in it, and everything's, you know, redacted. Even like the accounts, like, we need to see funds for this. We need to see, here's your conditions, right? So I told them, like, I would get you that by the end of the week, so you could feel more at ease, you know, with the process.
I don't know. Seeing all those conditions might make you feel less at ease. Maybe they have all those conditions.
Well, sometimes they are scary.
As a realtor, just from the outside, as a lender, we're just like, oh, you know, it's this stuff always comes up. There's always conditions.
There's always conditions, but some lenders do it a little scarier than others. But then you look at it and you're like, why is there 12 things? But then you look at it and you're like, okay, these 4 are title, because we got to get that in. These 3 are on the appraisal. This one here is the earnest money deposit. Oh, we're down to 4 things from our client.
We're done.
We're done.
Yeah, we're down to just a couple of paychecks, and you know,
down to a couple of pay stubs or something, or you know, no, we're good. Like that's the whole thing on it too. So like, it does look scary sometimes. There are certain times where somebody said they used a certain lender and it came out with like 35 conditions, but they just over conditioned, and you realize that there was 7 you had to deal with. And you're like, well, why did you put me through this? But you know.
Well, because those are the conditions.
Those are the conditions. That's what they got, because they have to make sure it fits, you know, there, so they can sell it on the secondary market. That's all it is. Everyone has their own process.
Well, I think you'll be happy to know that we're going out shopping again on Friday.
Yay! So, shopping again on Friday.
Got a full day on Friday to, you know, hopefully find a place.
Good.
We've probably shown about 30 to 40 homes to this guy. It's been, for whatever reason, this relocation company that we get all these referrals from, they like to see a lot of homes.
I could see that, though. So, I mean, it's hard, though, when you're not, you know, from the area, relocating. I mean, my wife and I, when we moved to Florida, you know, we thought we were going to explore 5 different areas in a week. we want to see downtowns and, what other, what are those price points compared to like, how to fit our buy box and everything. And we were driving, all over, because we were up in Illinois and we had, full-time jobs that were requiring a lot of us. So we were going to come down a week and we're going to go from, Sarasota to D-Land, and then.
And you're like, we don't have enough time. You come here and you're like, we got enough time for that subdivision. And that's it.
Right. Yeah, we didn't even have a fun day. We were trying to plan like a fun day in, like, oh, let's go to SeaWorld or, Universal. And
see, we came down here and I was like, let's figure out what area we want to, because we knew we wanted to be in the Orlando area.
Yeah.
And we're like, we'll have 3 days and we'll just drive around and we'll figure out the area. Because, not even look at houses, maybe pop into open houses.
Yeah, maybe an open house, some builders.
But 3 days and driving around, you can't figure out the area. Like it's just so it's just not enough time,
And do you do this with your clients? Like, do you tell people, like, I've heard that some people take the approach that you can't just check it like 10 a.m. on a Saturday. It's gonna be way different at like 2:30 in the afternoon, or check it out, drive through at night when you're looking at like prospective house.
Yeah, I mean that is a big thing. I mean, this guy, his whole thing is commute to the airport, so we're having to make sure that we're within reason. So every place is, and then he's like, well, I can get a nicer house if I go further out, or if I want to stay closer to the airport and have less of a commute, then I get lesser of a house. So this is what he's weighing in his head. He has a few requirements. The requirements are it has a 2-car garage and it has a pool. And other than that, he's like, I'm kind of open, And then he's got some family spread out in the different areas. One in Kissimmee, one where is that other one? Oh, he's in the Rio Pinar area. And then he's got one of his best friends over in the Cocoa Beach area.
Oh, okay.
He's kind of willing to be wherever, just it has to meet the airport thing. So it's just, he's part of it is he is really open. But I think now that he found a place that he actually liked, because he's had this FOMO thing.
Yeah.
He hasn't been wanting to, his fear of missing out. This was the first one that he was like, I like it. I want to put in an offer. He put his best foot forward, I thought, above list price, and he missed out on it. So now I think when he finds a place he likes, he's going to be more willing to jump on it.
Yeah. It must have been on price another offer, because I'm thinking about it like, if somebody came in, their last offer probably came in at the 400 and then asked for concessions on it, I would think. But yeah, it's just probably tough. But I think that he's in the right range. He's got some wiggle room on what he can do. Maybe I'll fine tune the numbers a little bit today and say, hey, you could probably get up to here. If he asked for it, kind of thing. But he's also in a unique situation, being the relocation. The relocation company covers a portion of that. So really, whatever he gets from the seller can go further. Yeah. Because you could even take all right, I'm going to do this. And he was like, maybe down payment assistance. And maybe there's a couple of ways we could work it for him. Because certainly, we're expecting rates to drop here in the next couple of months. So I'm kind of thinking, well, even if we did the down payment assistance, if you had this place, that would have been perfect to do the down payment assistance on, because you refi out of it, pay that off with your equity, and you still have equity in the home.
That's smart. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, either way, he'll have, I think, some options down the road. And now he has a feel for the market, and his price point is a little, it's one of those where, like I said, his price point is a very competitive price point, but he also has those requirements of the garage and the pool, which eliminate, a lot of those houses in that price point. Mm-hmm. So, we'll go with the flow. We'll see what happens. But we got to wrap up sometime here soon. I just wanted to touch base because I got to head off to a closing. Yeah. And it's another one of our joint clients. And this story was very unique because we've worked with her for probably over a year now. She went through a bankruptcy a couple years ago. Yep. And it's just, they've been really responsible since that happened. It was kind of a fluke accident that even happened. And so we were basically just waiting for it to fall off. I mean, we started shopping before the bankruptcy fell off.
Yes. Yep.
So we had like a preliminary pre-approval. We couldn't really have a pre-approval until that dropped off.
Right. Couldn't get anything official. And then we did it. I even, stalled out with the sellers. Oh no, we just haven't signed those docs yet. Can't get the appraisal order yet.
So we wrote the offer like about, I think it was like a week and a half or 2 weeks before that dropped off. And so, but we wrote the offer long enough that it gave us enough time to kind of just buy time. And so it all did work out. They're super happy. And so, but I wanted to touch base on that one because it's like, look, some of these people you think can't even buy or, or went through like a hardship at one point or whatever. As long as they get back on track, they can be right there.
Well, and I think the other thing about it too is what most importantly that they did is they consulted myself as a mortgage advisor and said, all right, well, I think we're getting close, and then how close are we? So putting together, a short-term mortgage plan for them really brought them the success they needed to buy a home versus saying, hey, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to buy. Right. But then here's your timeline. Here's when you can buy.
That's a very valid point. Whereas rather than be somebody that just all of a sudden gets with somebody, hey, I'd like to make an offer on this place. They took the time to be like, when can we start looking? When can we really start shopping? What is going to be our price? And then it was a process, it was like a year. And then, but really over the last 2 months before this offer got accepted is really when you kind of got everything in place for them.
Start to put the ducks in a row and all that. And really, if you can start 3 months before, that is ideal. You're going to have less stress. It's going to be smoother instead of like, oh, I need to shop next weekend. Now, if you already kind of know your situation and you think you're right about there and there's no surprises, you got 2 credit cards and a car payment and you're just W-2. Cool. All right, let's work with the numbers and make sure that it's within your budget.
I think either way, get with somebody ahead of time. Just it's free advice.
Right.
Like
exactly.
It's like, hey, listen, you do this for a living. Can I just get some free advice from you? And it's like, I would be happy to. And we'd like to earn your business down the road. But I give advice all the time. That's my job.
Right.
It's like,
what am I going to be guarded about my secrets of the mortgage industry? I'm not going to my clients that way.
Exactly. So I did want to bring that up because they are so incredibly blessed. So, or they feel incredibly blessed to have met us. They met us, or we talked to them a couple days ago and they just were like, when we started this process, we didn't know how it was going to end up, but it's ended up better than what we thought. And I was just like, you know what? It's been a long process with these folks, but it sometimes that's some of the most rewarding work right there, So anyways, I appreciate you, Trent.
Absolutely. Appreciate it as well.
And we'll see you guys next time.
See you in the next one.
That was a good one, dude.
Yeah.